We'll call the meeting to order now, and may we have a roll call, please?
Bradford. Hicks. Here. Janeski.
Here.
Lynn.
Here.
Ludwig.
Here.
Plattner.
Here.
Smith.
Okay, we'll say the pledge now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 2, this is time for public comment. If anyone would like to address the board tonight, this is your opportunity. Please.
My name is Josh Hunsberger, and I am interested in reinstating the 5th and 6th grade boys basketball program at the grade school. I understand that it was voted not to have the program this year due to 3 main reasons, if I have that correct. One was a lack of interest. Secondly was a lack of interest from other county schools and area schools in having programs themselves. And third was to be able to build the program by allowing 6th grade students to play up with the 7th grade students for basketball this year. If I could just address those things pretty quickly here. First, if we're considering low interest, I kind of went through, my son's a 6th grader, and so I was interested in having the program this year. I went through and found interest from 6th graders and 5th graders as well. I found 11 6th grade boys who are interested in playing this year, as well as 9 5th grade boys. I have a list of names. If it gets to that point, we want to look through those and see how those go. I know that not everyone is interested will end up playing. I coached this program a few years ago, so I know that not all of them will end up playing, but I think there's a decent amount of interest among the 5th and 6th grade boys to have a program and be able to play. Secondly, I can't speak too much to other area schools to know, who all will have programs and not have programs. From the communication that I've had with Mrs. Acton and Mrs. Lepenis, I was informed that there were something like 4 other programs within a 45-minute area that were interested in having programs this year as well. We had a shortened season, not a shortened season, that program has a short season, generally speaking, usually from about Thanksgiving to about Christmas, and a little bit on each side of that. And so if we played a home and away with 4 different teams, that's an 8-game season. I know it's not a full season, a long season. I do think it's a reasonable season for a short amount of time. I also know that Westville used to have a parent-run program, so they weren't an official program, but we could play home games with them here, and then they could bring their kids over here, so that could be another opportunity as well. And I understand that the hope was to be able to build the program by allowing the 6th graders to play up with the 7th grade and 8th grade class. I think that it's important that the 5th and 6th graders have opportunities to play with their peers as well. I think that one of the most important things at this age level is their enjoyment of the game and learning to play and just enjoying being there, so much so they go out and practice and play on their own in their driveway. I think sometimes, not in all cases, certainly some young kids thrive playing with older kids, but I do know that there are some that are younger that would certainly have frustrations with playing with the older kids because of advanced skill and not being able to have the opportunities to get game action and even putting their uniform on backwards and stuff before the game, just to have that experience of learning how to be a basketball player and then on a sports team and things like that. I am willing to coach if that is what's needed. I'd be glad to do that. I have someone who is also willing to assistant coach who is reputable in the area. I also have referee lined up if that would be the case. And so I appreciate your consideration and hopefully the possibility of having the basketball program for 5th and 6th grade boys basketball this year. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Josh.
Is there any other?
Is there anyone else for public comment tonight?
Okay.
Mr. Maynard, do we have any requests?
We had one FOIA request this month. This was a request for active licenses for cell towers, rooftops, antennas, or other wireless installations on property owned or managed by our school district. We responded immediately. We have no active licenses for the mentioned items. So that's taken care of.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
On to item 4, the consent agenda. Has everyone had an opportunity to look the consent agenda over? And are there any questions about it? If not, I ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Approved by Anita Hicks and seconded by Faulkner. Hicks? Here, yes. Janeski?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Faulkner?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on to item 6, committee reports. And Mr. Maynard, would you like to speak about the strategic planning committee?
I can do that. Did you want to ask if the OEA has?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
That's okay.
overlooked it. Mr. Johnson, does the OEA have?
Most
about
of our
that.
concerns, we think, are probably going to be discussed later.
Okay.
Especially when it comes to the governor's mandate on testing. Really, I do want to speak though from the union members who are coaches in some of our sports that we have. There's been a lot of concern recently, especially as the seasons have started and we've gone to different facilities around not just our county, but now we're going pretty far north in some cases. There's a lot of concern about the way that our fields appear. And the reflection of that on us as coaches. I looked here at the bottom of the agenda and we are looking at dedicating the football field to Coach McFarland, and that's fantastic. But we have the whole southwest end zone chewed up with moles. And I walked it 2 hours ago. Our south side of our practice field we cannot use because it has too many moles. The 20-yard line north to our locker room, that's chewed up too. Looking at it from the press box like I get to see now every week it's tough. And I didn't want this to be limited to one in particular. So in discussing this, the baseball field with the money that they put in and the stuff that's overgrown there, the softball field is overgrown. The tracks are overgrown. The basketball court at the high school is warped. It has been for a couple of years. We're getting to the point where we're fielding things from outside members. We've had players roll ankles, injure knees. I know not every situation is perfect, obviously, but this is starting to become an issue with what are we doing to help maintain the way that we appear. And it's really hard. Like, I'm so proud of the way that baseball field looked in particular this spring. And it's so disheartening. I can't even get my kid out there and other kids on his team to practice on it or to just hit balls on it because there's weeds everywhere. So I think just from a union side, and I haven't talked to any of the coaches in any other programs that aren't part of the union, but this is what I'm gathering. And it's I only bring it up because we care a lot. And I know that there's not easy solutions to all of these things, and you can't get them all at once, but that's pretty much been the brunt of the last 2 or 3 weeks of concerns that are not mandated. That's my report.
Thank you. And sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm used to it. Don't worry.
Mr. Maynard, committee report.
Sure. Just a brief report on the Strategic Planning Committee. We met in August to work through our district mission statement and vision. Had a great group there. We're getting ready to meet again on October the 6th at 5:30 p.m. That meeting will take place here. We should have our mission statement completed by the end of that meeting, as well as some strong progress on our vision statement. No other committees met this past month.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 7, administrative reports, informational. Again, Mr. Maynard.
All right. Doing a lot of talking here, aren't I? Apologize. Probably the thing that I've been working on the most here lately is the hot topic that we're all facing in regards to the governor's mandate of weekly testing unless you're not vaccinated. That is really taking a lot of time. As you'll remember, I started working on this back in July with Shield, Illinois, to find out what that situation looked like and what those opportunities were. Meantime, superintendents are working with each other, trying to figure out what different systems people are looking at and so forth. And I think the challenge has been is that when the governor made his mandate and the State Board of Ed followed that up, the issues that we face many times is that decisions are being made without any forethought about how to implement such things. In other words, the infrastructure is not in place in the state of Illinois to take 800 plus school districts and have them all do something with on-site weekly testing. I am still waiting to hear back from a couple of vendors on this. So I just want to kind of give you an update on the plan that we're working on here. The issue that we face in the area, not being in a metropolitan area, but being a little bit more rural, we do have Danville and Champaign close by. But those staff members that want to get weekly tested, there's not a lot of opportunity for them. And for example, the health department doing one day. I mean, that tells a story just in and of itself when this is coming from the Illinois Department of Public Health, and your local health department can staff one day of weekly testing for your staff from 9 to 3 when we're in school. So it has come with a lot of challenges. So there's a lot of meetings that are happening. We're trying to figure, but they don't have the manpower to do anything more than that. So I think that tells a story. So with that being said, what I'm working on right now, I've got 2 or 3 districts. There's one that's waiting, so I'll say 2, that have 2 different vendors that they're working with. And so I am working with them to see how their plan is being implemented. One should have just started today. One is still waiting. Hopefully we'll be starting within the next week. With that being said, I'm working with Achieve Health Management System. And Achieve Health Management System, what I'm trying to do is to have them set up a situation where we could provide on-site weekly testing for our staff to help make it more convenient for them. It's just one of those things where all you can do is keep calling and keep submitting information and wait for them to get to you on their waiting list. And that's with there's 2 main vendors, Shield, Illinois and Achieve Health Management System. I'm working with Achieve Health Management System, and hopefully, our goal is that we would be able to, once we hear back from them and I can observe the process going on with a few other districts and meet with them and see how this system is flowing, our goal would be that second quarter, which would be October the 19th. This is the target goal that I sent to Achieve Health Management Systems that I'm waiting to hear back on. That second quarter, we could have a situation starting on Tuesday, October the 19th. Again, that's the goal. I don't have confirmation on that, but that's the goal that I'm trying to establish with the vendor, that we would have testing available for our staff if they choose to do that on site on Tuesday mornings. Later, you'll hear information about the using grant money to hire a recommendation for hire tonight for a district COVID interventionist position / health clerk to help us manage this whole situation and more. So all that tying in, if we could have a situation where we could have this testing available on Tuesday mornings, we can have it happen at each of the different, work with the nurses. We could have it happen at each of the different buildings. The staff members would be able then to complete that assessment there, and then basically we collect that information confidentially and then are able to place it in the mail, and it gets mailed off in prepackaged mailing. And then we get informed within 48 hours of any positives. That person would, as well as basically it would be probably just myself and the two nurses, maybe the COVID interventionist. Okay. So I just want to let you know, we've got a plan that we're working on here. It's just a matter of trying to get the vendor to respond. And I'm not picking on the vendor. They're overwhelmed. Every system is overwhelmed right now. And, but this is one that I know that's happening nearby. So I'll be monitoring with another school district, but I want to let you know that has been a lot of what we've been working on here lately. As far as other things in the report, construction update, talk with Amoresco, with our Preschool for All grant and playground stuff and everything going in with that. They've been on site. They're taking pictures. They're looking at our maps. They're doing some surveys. They're communicating with a member of the community that is in charge of public works to make sure we know where water lines are and that type of thing. So all that's getting together, and the designs are coming together. And once they get those together, they'll get those to me, and I will get those out to the board immediately once those are done. And then once we get into the process of the breaking ground, they will be giving me weekly reports and pictures of things that are going on that I can also share, with the board and with the community as well. So things are moving. They're slow in the beginning, but that's kind of the update with Amoresco. Also, I don't have anything new in terms of arbitration. I've not been informed of anything new there in regards to the Oakwood Education Association and the district. And I talked a little bit about the interventionist position already. So I guess I would just ask to see if you have any questions for me about any of these items or anything else that I could help with. Sorry. That means I need to shut up and be done, right?
Any questions from board members? Let's move on. Mrs. Kimbrough?
I'm going to talk about just two big things kind of coming up today. We have 31 awards delivered and 10 parts. So we're going to start with that process of getting them into the classrooms, getting them on carts, probably starting next week. We also have our district in-service that was supposed to be at DAC has now been put back into our district. So we're going to use that time for Promethean board training, reading fluency training, math acceleration training, and then collaboration with grade levels. So we're going to take full advantage of those 5 hours that we have on that day to try to get some of that done. And it's also kind of cool because there's a virtual institute that day that has a collaboration. So not only would our math teachers be together, but they would be online with other math teachers with time before and time after to have conversations about it. So it's kind of a unique thing. And it also has foreign language and home ec and all those things that we have nobody to buddy up with or collaborate with. So hopefully it's a successful day. The second thing is John and I are going to meet tomorrow at Menards to hopefully order all the stuff for the home ec kitchens. So we have the countertops and the cabinets picked out. We had somebody come in and give us an estimate or a quote on upgrading electrical. So we're going to do that correctly while we're there. And then the countertops and cabinets and everything else. So I'm really excited about that home ec part. It's been kind of busy with grants and paperwork and all of that. So I'm ready to move on to the kitchen. That'll be tomorrow.
Thank you. Mr. Odom, high school?
Yes, you got the report. It's got the highlights of some of the students. The big thing for us is homecoming is coming up. We've got our homecoming report that's in your paperwork. We are going to have the homecoming dance at the Vermilion County Fairgrounds. They have been generous enough to give us use of their facility there for free. So thank you to the Vermilion County Fairgrounds Board. And the other thing is we had to postpone swap day, which would be on September 22nd. We felt it was better for our students and staff to not have outside people coming into the classrooms and sitting next to the students. We're hoping to reschedule that in the February-March timeframe so we can still get the parents into the building. I think that's important, but right now the risk kind of outweighed the importance of that event, so we postponed that. We're gonna have midterms going out on September 24th, which is right after homecoming. I don't know if that's the best plan, but that's what we've got with the time that we've got. So at least we'll have the students know and the parents know where they're standing before they get to the quarter on October 15th. That is basically all I have.
Mr. Shelton?
Sure. I'll just hit some of the highlights in my report. Last night, our cross-country girls became county champions last night at Kickapoo, so we're really proud of those. Those girls had a great season. Also, we've got a couple medalists at a couple golf matches, so we're really proud of the golf team as well. They're in competition tonight. And then soccer team has been playing really well. They're kind of on a roll right now. They've had a small speed bump, but they did play the Cornbreaker Classic and played the third place game and got 2 wins there, so that's good. And then the volleyball team did get their first win of the season against Bismarck, and the pit crew is coming along. It's getting a lot bigger and trying to get a little more organized with it, but it's good to see the kids out, and got a whiteout night last night and plan on doing some more themed nights coming up. And then looking in the future, for winter sports, girls basketball is set to start on November the 1st for practices, and then boys basketball and wrestling will start the following week on November the 8th.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Britton, junior high?
Good evening. Middle school is in full swing, and it's close to a typical year. We're really pretty excited. We have our reading and writing benchmarks done, and we'll start MAPS testing next week. We've got a lot of curriculum that we're working on and moving through with our students. We're happy to have them 5 days a week. We will start having guest speakers in our building. So we're going to have the Survivor Resource Center come and offer some activities on respecting and just being a good human in the next 2 days during PD. I'm real excited about having her in the building again. The new Chromebooks, thank you, Chris, they have been wonderful. We have some kids that are not as gentle with them as we want, but we're going to get our technology back online with them. Building safety drills are reviewed and we're working through those. Softball got to their second round of regionals. They had to compete on Saturday. Their season's over. Those girls worked really hard. Baseball plays tonight in their regional at Saltport. Girls basketball started. We start with 24 6th, 7th, and 8th girls, and their first game is next Thursday at the grade school. We are inaugural game. Cheerleading had their tryouts on Saturday, so we have 13 cheerleaders, which we didn't have last year. We will start speech. Student council is working on homecoming activities. Project Success started. We are just rolling. Picture day is Monday, along with our baseball and softball pictures. Boys basketball will start October 18th. We're looking forward to our teachers installation. That's going to be really nice in the district. Today, our 7th graders celebrated International Dot Day. It's based on the Dot book by Mr. Reynolds, basically talking about making a mark, talking about a growth mindset, getting rid of the can'ts, and going into not yet. So we're going to really base our year on that and continue on a positive growth. So that's the junior high. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Acton?
All right, so I will be sharing on behalf of Ms. Lepenis and myself tonight. So Ms. Lepenis shared with you our current enrollment numbers. I believe that was in her board report. I will say that we are continuing to get new students almost every day. We've been working really closely with the truancy officer because some of our students that we were concerned about last year and with the way it was remote last year are slowly trickling back into our school system. So really impressed with Heidi Allen from the ROE. She's been wonderful to work with. I know that today she went out and did some home visits with Ms. D. Smitley, our SRO, and I feel like that is a really good team to make sure that our kids are getting taken care of. Some of our former activities have worked their way back into our school this year, so it's exciting for the kids. We're continuing with Student of the Month. I listed that in my report. Starbucks are being given out, and we had several of our teachers lead the way in boot camp, teaching our students expectations from the very start of the year. Ms. Lepenis shared with you some of the activities that are going on in our building. The Meet the Stars night was very successful. We had about an 85% attendance rate, so I thought that that was very good, especially since there are some youth football and cheerleading practices going on at the same time. I mentioned truancy, still working on our 504 plans and IEP plans and making sure that we have all of those up to date with missing deadlines last year. Basketball is going well. It has been a very smooth transition in having the junior high students come over to our building. They've been very respectful, get right to work, and the coach is doing a fabulous job. Working with our safety drills, we've already completed our Alice drill with our students, and that went very well. And then we did our first fire drill. And Jeremy Evans was impressed on how quickly and quietly our students were able to exit the building. I think we were out in less than 2 minutes. So that went very well. And it's been a chaotic couple of weeks in our building. We've been down our nurse and down our secretary for about 2 weeks. So we've had doing almost every role, but it's working. And Project Success started with about 80 students this week.
I ask a question.
Questions for me?
Ms. Acton, one of the things that we've been working on here is a little bit of a safety plan. It has to do with our students. It has to do with transition. And I've kind of handed the baton off to you to kind of lead the way on that and do some research. And it has to do with kid account. Would you mind talking a little bit about that?
Sure. So with the plan of bringing over almost 200 students into the grade school facility, even though we're adding on, it does pose some transportation concerns, specifically at dismissal. Arrival, I don't think we'll have as many concerns because it's sporadic of when people drop their students off, but dismissal has been an ongoing concern, my understanding in the Oakwood community for several years. So we block the main street in Oakwood. We've been working with Ron Soderstrom and everybody we can to make that a smoother process. But knowing that we're going to have 200 more students, we are trying to look for ways that we can, number one, ensure the safety of our students, and two, streamline the process for parents. We've been looking and exploring options. The Kid Account program is basically a program that takes a barcode, if you will, and each parent student is given a barcode. And we are able to scan those and correctly identify if that pickup person is legitimate and who it is. And we can then feed that information into the building, and it will pop up on a Promethean board or any kind of smart board and put our students in order of the way that the cars are out in the parking lot. And so then we can keep the students moving out of the building effectively and efficiently. One of the things that I love is that it is going to cut down on the time that we're interrupting the classrooms, because it will also keep track of the dismissal change notes that we get so often. So there's a lot of great pieces of this program. We're in the initial exploration stage of it, but I do think that we love it because I can tell you at the end of dismissal at 4 o'clock, I can look up any student and know the exact time that they left the building and who they left the building with. And as a parent, safety is huge for me, and I think that that would be a very reassuring piece for our parents and our community, is to see exactly when our students are leaving and where they're going.
Thank you, Ms. Acton. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Richardson?
I don't have too much more to add to my report other than the 31 Promethean boards that we ordered back in April finally getting them. So we're just running the next couple of weeks, getting those into the classrooms, ready to go. I just want to thank John, Larry, and Michelle for helping here unload, and then Jerry at the junior high, and Jeff and Greg at the high school. They all helped with unloading it. Make the process go so much smoother. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Mrs. Vaughn?
I've got something I want to add for you guys. I've got my report. I'm going to hand the board members out a sheet of paper. You're going to see a date with a bus number. I made sure I kept everything confidentiality. This is what we have seen so far in the past 3.5 weeks on the buses. These are just the students on the buses. And if you take a look at that, even from the year,
Thank you.
beginning of the year, we've got a few connections. Sarah and I have become very concerned over the past week and a half. If you look at that very bottom group right there, that's not a small number of students from the same bus that's gone out a week and a half. You can add another student with the same bus number with today's date. We have 2 students. You see the asterisks by the names on the dates of those, that when Sarah went back and we did all the contact tracing, they got COVID from the bus. There's only 2, we could 100% say that. Several of the students on this last group right here were sent home and tested positive. 2 of these students went home for their time, came back for a day or 2, and were back out positive. So we're seeing this really here in 3.5 weeks, especially if you look at this last one for the week and a half. COVID is spreading on our buses and it's spreading quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5 a week and a half, and now 6 with today from the same bus. And this is the second time this year that this bus has been hit as well. The day that the kids were able to come back, we had another positive student, and several of those students went back out. So that's something I'm concerned about. I've spoken with our principals and I've spoken with Sarah. We really need to start pushing for our parents. And I know transportation and the carpool line, but we need to make sure our parents understanding this is spreading through our buses. We've got one right now. I mean, you guys can look at it. It's spreading through our buses. Our parents need to understand and know that this is happening. And if they are able to take their children to school, it's going to help quite a bit and it's going to lower the case numbers. We are averaging, because we have no restrictions on our buses this year, 60 students a bus. I have 3 routes that are at full capacity. Every time we've had a lot of students coming in, I've had to do a lot of shifting on that. With Project Success starting, that is lightening the load in the afternoon a little bit and helping. But I can let you guys know that most of our routes, the route I'm driving right now, in the afternoons, when the Project Success kids are on the bus, half the bus is 3PC with all of our little kids. So I just kind of want to show you the numbers. I kind of talked with Lisa on the day. I think the best way that we get this out to our parents is if we make an announcement, make the phone call recording, make sure all of our parents actually get it. We can post it on the websites, we can send out messages, but we really want to make sure our parents are understanding and seeing that we are getting spread on our buses. Any questions?
So just to kind of clarify, so one of the mitigation strategies that you're recommending right now is to temporarily make a request to our parents that if they can, that they would bring their kids for a while so we can try to get through this hot spot. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think it's, at least, till we get through it, we've got a lot of kids. And what's really got me and Sarah worried is this last bus. We're not done with it. We still have several out sick that we don't have test results for on that bus as well. So, that's one kind of going now. I don't want the rest of our buses and our rest of our routes going in that situation. But yeah, for temporarily, at least for now, until we can kind of see a slow on what's going on, I really think that we should recommend our parents for the time being, if they can bring their kids to bring.
So you and I can work together on the communication piece for that tomorrow, okay?
That sounds good.
Thank you. Mr. Siddons?
I don't have a lot. It's been a busy beginning of school year. The heat has really hurt us. I'm not sure really what's going on. We've had a lot of air conditioning issues. I've been in contact with our HVAC guy. I've also been in contact with the electrician. And we're talking about making phone calls to Ameren. Seems like when the power surges, power goes out. There's also been rumor that there's been a low voltage problem in the area. So I'm gonna make a phone call to Ameren and see if we can't work out. We've had a lot of expenses for that. And I can't get parts, so I think we have more to it, frustration. So that's one of our biggest concerns, is trying to keep the air and circulation going. So when we can't get the parts, it really makes it tough. So,
Is that happening in all buildings or
it's
just?
pretty much the grade school. The high school has had a couple problems, but it's pretty much our grade school. It's happening in the town worse. And this week, we had a compressor go down on our freezer at the grade school, and we're thinking it could be used some of that too. So we're going to do some research. Don't know if we're going to be able to go anywhere with it because we're fighting a big company, but it never hurts to ask and do some checking around. But that's been the biggest issue so far this year. Everything else has been going pretty good. Custodial staff's doing a nice job, so no complaints. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on to item 8 now, old business. Are there any board members that have anything they'd like to bring up that we've discussed before previously? Okay, we'll go to item 9, closed session. We'll need to make a motion to go into closed session. Need a second? Mark. Roll call, please.
Have a motion to move into closed session.
This will be for the purpose of collective negotiating matters between the public body and the employees or their representatives, Oakwood Education Association.
Janeski?
Yes.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Plattner?
Yes.
Dix? Yes. Motion carried by roll call 2. We'll move into closed session.
Ready yourself.
Yes, thank you. So we're going to mute now and we'll come back when we turn to open session. And
hiring some and some resolutions and all that, of course, is contingent in hiring people in the background check. So, item 10A, a recommendation to approve the FY 22 budget as presented.
So moved.
You have a second? Oh, missed it. Roll call.
Oh,
they're still going.
That's it? Made by number roll call, first Janeski, seconded by Plattner. Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Roll call carried by vote, roll call number 4.
Okay, on to B, recommendation to adopt the bond resolution and escrow resolution as follows.
Okay, I will read these because we need to. The first one is resolution providing for the issue of taxable general obligation refunding school bonds, Series 2021A, and general obligation school bonds, Series 2021B of the district for the purpose of increasing the working cash fund and refunding certain outstanding bonds of the district, providing for the levy of a district annual tax sufficient to pay for the principal and interest on said bonds, and authorizing the sale of said bonds to the purchaser thereof. This is required in order for us to complete the process of selling the working cash fund bonds, which have been purchased unofficially. And these resolutions do not bring a tax increase for the bond and debt services. I would ask that you would approve that this evening.
I do have a motion.
You want to read item 2
Do you-
at the same time?
You gotta vote on them separately.
Want me to do the second one as well? Okay,
Mark says we should.
I think you gotta vote on them separately.
that was my understanding.
Okay, so we'll do number 1. So do I have a
So
motion? Okay,
Second.
roll call, please.
I have a motion by Lynn to adopt the bond resolution as presented, seconded by Hicks. Plattner,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Carried by roll call 5.
Okay, item 2, resolution. This is the escrow resolution. Resolution authorizing and directing the execution of an escrow agreement in connection with the issue of taxable general obligation refunding school bonds, Series 2021A of the district. I'd recommend that you would approve this evening.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Lynn to adopt the escrow resolution. Plattner,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Roll call number 6, carried.
Item C ties in with the 2 resolutions. It's another step that because we're taking on the $3 million bond, we have to do a percentage of that, and that requires a $750,000 surety bond for the treasurer by law. So we are required to do that tonight as well. So I'd recommend that you would approve that.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second, yeah.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Lynn, seconded by Plattner to approve the additional $750,000 surety bond for the treasurer. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner.
Yeah.
Smith. Oh, sorry.
Is that name John or Jonah?
I think Jonna?
Jonna? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to D under 10. Recommendation to employ Jonna Smith to fill the vacancy of Oakwood Junior High School PM part-time custodian. She will be on step 1 of the rate of pay schedule.
John
Dee.
replaces Mr. Siddons, because he went to the grade school. John comes with us with custodial experience, and I highly recommend that she be a custodian.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Motion made by Faulkner, seconded by Hicks to employ Jonas Smith to Oakwood Junior High School part-time custodian on step 1 of the pay schedule. Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried by roll call number 8.
Okay, we'll move on to E, recommendation to employ Joseph Smith to fill the vacancy of Oakwood Junior High School assistant girls basketball coach beginning with the 21-22 school year. This is a 7th grade head coach duty. He will be on step 1 of the rate of the pay schedule.
Joseph Smith has done some coaching within our community, and with his age group. He will work well with Phil Myers. I highly recommend that he be a 7th grade basketball coach.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I have a motion by Lynn, seconded by Faulkner to employ Joseph Smith for Oakwood Junior High School assistant girls basketball coach beginning in 21-22 school year. He will be on step 1 of the pay schedule. Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Hicks. Yes. Janeski.
Yes.
Roll call carried by roll call number 9.
Okay, F, recommendation to employ Kelly Hobbs to fill the vacancy of Oakwood High School financial AD secretary. She will be on step 1 of the rate of the pay schedule.
Yeah, Kelly is a Oakwood graduate. She has been a flight attendant for 20 years and retired. She's moving back to the area. She wants to be involved with the community. She has run a business of her own on the side, so she's got the bookkeeping experience that she needs. And she's going to be a great addition to our staff. We can't wait to get her on.
Good. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Hicks, seconded by Faulkner to employ Kelly Hobbs as the Oakwood High School financial AD secretary on step 1 of the pay schedule. Ludwig,
Yes.
Faulkner,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski.
Yes.
Lynn.
Yes.
Roll call carried by number 10.
Okay, moving on to G, recommendation to approve the following bass fishing volunteer assistant coaches beginning with the 21-22 school year. Do I need to read their names?
Okay, this is kind of a general formality, as 7 of these 8 coaches have helped Coach Markville in the past, and have all been fingerprinted. We couldn't find anywhere in the minutes where these gentlemen were approved, so we just kind of want to do that here this evening, so we have that down and documented. The one gentleman that is not is Eldon Hayne. He's the last one listed there. He is a new hire coming along this year that will need to be fingerprinted and go through the vetting process.
Okay, thank you. That would be Bobby Wright, Dusty Kenny, Jim Whittington, Roger, is it Siebert? Joe Cook, Jim Lape, Mike Carson, Carlos Stewart, and Eldon Hayne. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
I have a motion by Faulkner, seconded by Lynn to approve the following for bass fishing volunteer assistant coaches for 21-22. Faulkner,
Yes.
Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Roll call carried, number 11.
Okay, moving on to H, recommendation to dedicate the OHS football field as Marty McFarland Field on October 8th with a scoreboard and grandstand metal signs for the cost of approximately $2,900. Would you like to speak to that, please?
Most of you guys in here probably know Coach McFarland really well. And he is the winningest football coach in Oakwood history dating back to the 1920s that is. He's coached for 23 seasons here at Oakwood. 16 of those 23 seasons were winning records in 9, including 9 playoff appearances. And he's also Hall of Fame, IHSA Hall of Famer as well. So the general idea was that we would conduct a sign up underneath our scoreboard and also underneath crow's nests under the windows to honor him, as well as him having a plaque as well. St. Joe had just recently done this dedication for Coach Duval, and kind of be really a fitting honor for winning this football coaching history.
Any discussion?
Great choice.
I need a motion, please.
So move. Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Lynn, seconded by Plattner to dedicate the Oakwood High School football field as Marty McFarland Field on October 8th of 2021 with a scoreboard and a grandstand metal sign for approximately $2,900. Hicks,
Yes.
Janeski,
Yes.
Lynn,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Plattner.
Yes.
Roll call carried, vote number 12.
Okay, item I, we are going to table that for further consideration. So that is tabled. Okay, and J, recommendation to employ Parker Lee as the 7th grade boys basketball coach beginning on the 21-22 school year. He will be on step 2 of the rate of pay schedule.
Parker Lee helped last year with our boys basketball. He knows these young men. He's worked all of them. I think we need to continue, but we would like to see.
Need a motion, please?
So move. Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Lynn, seconded by Plattner to employ Parker Lee as the Oakwood Junior High 7th grade boys basketball coach. He will be on step 2 of the pay schedule. Janeski?
Yep.
Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Plattner?
Yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Carried by roll call number 13.
11, other business discussion. Does anyone have anything they want to talk about?
Glad you asked us.
If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Motion by Janeski, seconded by Plattner to adjourn the meeting at 8:33. Lynn?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Plattner?
Yes.
Hicks?
Yes.
Janeski?
Yes.
Roll call carried, number 14.
Thank you for everyone.